Hello and welcome to Home Based Business Review with Carl Douglas. I'm your host, Carl Douglas. Listen, I'm excited to share something that everybody should be aware that they need and they got to have. Okay, and let's think about that for a second. Because what's going on in the world, there's things you're going to need to keep your house in order. Lawrence Wright is one of my guests today, and Lauren is a professional insurance broker. Okay, and he's going to explain a little bit more about what he does and how he got involved. For right now, Lauren, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Carl.
I'm happy to have you, my friend, because because what's going on in the world today, a lot of people need to be aware of the things that you're going to talk about. Okay, first of all,
Yeah.
before we get into that, I want to take it to the beginning. Okay, I want you to tell everybody, if you be so kind, why you do what you do.
Why I do what I do. I mean, I could talk for a long period of time about that,
Okay.
but in the gist of it, I got into the insurance industry after my father passed away in 2018.
Okay.
Just seeing some of the financial needs that my family had as a result of him passing. I wanted to be able to relay that information to other people who could use it. Seeing that there's a need for life insurance, health insurance, and just proper retirement planning all as a whole, I think it's very, very important.
Outstanding. Tell me a little bit more about all the different insurance packages that your company brings and how you bring them and so on.
Yeah, so I dabble in a little bit of everything, mainly life insurance as well as health insurance. So with everything going on with the Washington CARES Act, long-term care has a big impact on my business in the last couple of months or so. And I also help with college planning through 529 accounts and retirement planning and investing. So if anybody's always looking into investing and looking how they can grow their money, I would be the man to contact.
Outstanding, outstanding. Tell me a little bit about some of the people who have taken up. I'm sure you are a person that basically uses the product. Tell me
Yeah.
about that. How did that impact your life? How did that help you keep your house in order?
It just gives me peace of mind knowing that if anything were to happen to me, my son is taken care of, my wife is taken care of. I know that I'm going to do great in life, but just having kind of that security blanket behind me kind of gives me a little bit more freedom to take a little bit more risk and grow um, like I see fit.
Outstanding, outstanding. Listen, I know somewhere in your life, your personal life, you made a decision to do what you're doing. You just mentioned it about your father, but
hmm
let's go back a little further. What was your biggest breakthrough in your life? Let's go back to your
My
childhood.
mm, my biggest breakthrough. I would say the biggest thing that I've overcome, me personally, and kind of getting me in this proper mind space. I walked onto the Eastern football team right after they won the national championship. I'd say that's my biggest breakthrough. It's a commitment to years of perseverance and training and due diligence in order to get me there. I was one of the few that has walked on the program since and was able to enjoy a lot of success that they had in that program. Three three conference championship rings that I can
Wow.
attest to, as well as being just shy of three different national championship games. So I take the hard work and perseverance from that experience, and I put it into my work every day.
You know what? I can tell that was a passionate thing that you did because when you talk about it, you keep this big smile on your face, which is great. I know some of the people that's watching this right now are probably going, "Man, look at that! This is who he is, and this is why he is doing what he's doing, and that's why he's being successful doing what he's doing."
Yes.
And I think that's really important to understand for anybody who gets in any type of business. You do have to have a passion for it. Would you agree?
Definitely, definitely. I mean, without that passion, there's nothing driving you to continue to push forward.
Yeah, and also when I met you, I noticed your family, and they right there supporting you, like it's like, and I seen them with a smile on their face, so they must be happy for you as well for themselves.
Yeah, my family's my biggest supporter. As you saw at the event, my wife helped set up the table. my little 3-year-old son passes out balloons. It's definitely a team effort for
Oh
sure.
man, that's so special. That's I know what you're talking about. Well, what I want to kind of answer some questions. I know that some of the people in the audience who are watching this right now are probably thinking,
Mhm.
okay, so I'm going to look at myself and I'm thinking about what you said, life insurance. Uh, Break that down. I know you got life insurance. Once again, let's take our time with that. Let's explain basically some of the plans and more in detail if you can. Not just life
Yes.
insurance, but the other ones we're talking about.
Yeah, so for life insurance, there's a couple of different aspects that you can touch on. There's what's called whole life and term insurance. Those are kind of the two basic forms of life insurance. I like to compare term insurance to very similar to car insurance. It's only good for a certain amount of time, and after a while, you have to renew it. Um, but that renewal period is just based off of your age and your health at that point of time of application. That's what we like to call kind of like a renter's type of insurance, where it's very temporary. It's only good for the moment that's for the term that it's set up for. Whereas you have your whole life insurance, which is typically just like the name implies, is going to cover you for your whole entire life. So there's no need to reapply. Don't have to worry about becoming uninsurable down the road if your policy expires. It's something that's going to be consistent in terms of payments every month and in terms of the benefit that you'll receive for yourself and for your family.
Well, I have young families and military families, and they are looking at different policies, and they have children just like you do. So this probably going to be a
Hmm.
good question to ask you. Okay,
Yeah.
now if I want my kid to go to school, I want to put money in a certain kind of policy that you have, where when he gets old enough, he can actually take money out of there and use it for his schools. Tell me about that plan and what is it called?
Yeah, so there's two different routes that you can go with that. There's what's called a 529 account, which is a college savings plan. Essentially, what that is, it allows for parents, grandparents to contribute early and invest in the market toward things for education purposes, whether that be books, pencils, pens, computers, tuitions, the whole 9 yards in terms of college. It allows you to do that in a tax deferred basis. So as long as you're paying for college uh, utensils, yeah, they'll go ahead and cover that for you. The alternative, if there you feel like there may be a chance that college may not be the thing, but you want a little bit more flexibility on how you can spend, you can always get a cash value life insurance policy that gives you a little bit more autonomy to choose what you spend that money on. So whether it be a trade school or if you wanted to start your own business, that those funds that are within that policy there can be used for that, not just solely for educational purposes.
Okay,
as well.
so let's say that how long does it take to to invest that money to get it some kind of loan? Is it a loan or that's your money you get back? Explain to me a little bit more so I can
A
understand that.
little bit of both. It's a loan in the sense that the money that is within the policy is yours. But the benefits of using life insurance to kind of fund that is that it's a 0% interest loan. So you're
Oh,
basically borrowing from yourself and creating a bank of you, essentially. It's under tax laws, it's kind of referred to as a return of premium. So everything that's generated is tax free.
mm, mm.
Hmm.
So let's say that right now I have a grandson and I want to invest in his college as well as like you're saying, when he gets like 40 years old or whatever, is it a point where he stopped paying into that, or is it a cutoff for that?
Yeah, so there's options within the policies. It's built for flexibility. So if you can go the whole life route, which has options of pay till 100, and just like that implies, you would pay all the way through. What that means is that your payments over time are smaller, but they're just for a longer duration. And then there's what's also known as a custom whole life policy, which combines the best of both worlds of a whole life and a term policy. You set the duration of the payments, but it'll still give you that coverage that you're looking for over the entire period that you need it. So, for in this example, let's say he was 5 years old and you wanted
Mhm.
it to be all said and done by the time he's 25. You can set the pay periods for 20 years, make your payments for 20 years. After that, your grandson now has an appreciating asset that he can use at his disposal.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay,
Mhm.
what about okay, thank you for that information. I'm sure that was a question that would probably been asked.
Yeah.
What about rental? I'm gonna change up a little bit. What about rental insurance? Did you cover that?
So I don't dabble more in the rental insurance side, but
Mhm.
being in the finance industry, I do have connections that I can refer my clients to. I like to
Oh,
use a holistic approach
yes.
and be able to kind of be a point of contact and point you in the right direction. So whether you need home or auto insurance, you need a lawyer, an accountant, my connections would be able to point you in the right direction and find somebody within the area or out of the area if that's something that you preferred.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, the information you're giving out so far, it sounds like you got a pretty professional title. What is your actual title with this particular company?
Yeah. So I am a registered rep, and that just means that I have the ability to offer variable and products that are within the market. Gives you a little bit more power to invest your money.
Man, I love that. I love that. So you do know what you're talking about, not just basic, but your title itself proves it. 'Cause it takes little steps to get to where you're at, and I appreciate your time. I got to say,
Thank you.
when a person now we're going to talk about what's happening right now because we have just a little bit more time, about 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I want you to talk about what's going on in the world and what you would recommend people to have and why they should have it. And I'm sure that you see people now who are passing and getting caught with burial expenses and things they didn't think about because when it comes down to leaving this world, this earth, it's a big surprise. Nobody knows the time and day, right?
Right.
But right now, uh, tell me a little bit more about uh, when you meet with a family. What do you go over so they can be prepared?
Yeah, so one of the first things that we typically cover is the protection aspect of it, which is going to include the life insurance. It makes no sense in building a house if you're building it on a weak foundation. And that just kind of implies back on if anything were to happen while you're in the accumulation phase, you're growing your money, you're living your life, enjoying your family. We don't want one instance to kind of put all your hard work to shame. So we always start with the protection phase, making sure that there's enough set aside in the event that there is an accident or incident, as well as prepping for that accumulation phase, the fun stuff where you see the numbers going up and you're actually starting to make money. Uh, and then getting ready as we approach retirement, getting a little bit closer, making sure that we have the funds available, they're allocated appropriately, and you have a solid income stream throughout retirement. Because the last thing you want to do is start retirement and then have to come out of retirement because your
Oh,
money didn't last long enough.
there's a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah.
Okay, so the information you're giving me is really helpful.
Mhm.
I'm going to talk to my audience for a second. Um,
Yeah.
you can basically look at this video again and understand that this particular person we're talking to knows what he's talking about. So you understand what you need to do if you need to get a hold of him and so on. So go ahead and do that. It's important to do just that. So we're going to invite you back, my friend, because the information you
Yeah.
provide, I'm sure I'm going to get some questions, and we're going to give those questions to you so you can answer them for the next time we get together. Would you be able to come back and share some more knowledge that you have in the insurance business?
Yeah, as long as I'm welcome.
You are welcome, my friend. You are
There
welcome.
we go. I love
Uh,
it.
All righty, all righty. Well, listen, once again, thank you, Lauren, for being here today and sharing time with us. And we can't wait to hear from you again. So we're going to say bye for now.
All right. We'll see you later.